Welcome to another episode of AI 10X brought to you by 10 Leaves.
Glad to be here for this one.
Yeah. So, what if I told you that the most valuable player of the World Cup or like the NBA Finals wasn't actually on the court at all?
Right. They're somewhere totally different.
Exactly. Like
True.
sitting in a server room somewhere, 500 miles away. Today, we are not just talking about keeping score or looking at some post-game stat sheet.
No, we're way past that now.
We really are. The mission of this deep dive is to explore how artificial intelligence is actively changing the world of sports. And, right this second, it's altering real-time tactics, it's optimizing human physiology, and this is the crazy part, literally predicting a torn hamstring days before it actually happens.
Yeah, the shift we're witnessing right now, it's basically the difference between reading a history book and, well, looking into a crystal ball.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Because for over a century, sports analytics relied almost entirely on historical records.
Yeah.
We had people with clipboards just tallying up shots or miles run, passing percentages, things like that.
Right, like the whole Moneyball thing.
Exactly. Even the famous Moneyball revolution was ultimately just a more sophisticated way of looking at the past to make educated guesses about the future.
Just really good guessing, basically.
Right. But what we're looking at today, with AI integrating into live sports, it's a completely new paradigm. We've moved from this historical record to this unprecedented, omniscient vision of the game. It treats the game as a living, breathing organism.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because it's really easy to just throw around a buzzword like, AI analytics.
Oh, for sure. People do it all the time.
Right, but the algorithm is really only as good as the data feeding it. So we need to understand what the AI is actually seeing, because it doesn't watch a basketball court the way you and I do.
No, it doesn't care about the narrative or the emotion of the game at all.
Exactly. So according to the sources, AI in modern sports is built on three specific pillars of continuous data. We've got player movements, game statistics, and internal physiological telemetry.
Yeah, and it's the synthesis of those three pillars that really creates the magic.
So it's like having a digital ghost, right? Just
Right.
running alongside the athlete, mapping every single twitch and heartbeat instead of just, watching where the ball goes.
That's a great way to picture it. And to understand how it does that, we actually have to look at the hardware first.
Okay, what kind of hardware are we talking about?
Well, we aren't just talking about a camera panning back and forth across a field. Modern stadiums are rigged with these incredibly high-level optical tracking systems.
Like mounted up in the rafters.
Exactly. Up in the rafters, capturing the precise X, Y, and Z coordinates of every single player
Yeah.
and the ball. And they're doing this sometimes at like 60 to 300 frames per second.
Wow. Wait, 300 frames per second. That's insane.
It is. And that provides all the spatial data. So the AI calculates the exact velocity of a player's acceleration, the precise angle of their cuts, and this is crucial, their relative distance to every other moving object on the pitch at any given millisecond.
So that covers the external movement, but that third pillar you mentioned, the internal physiological telemetry, that's where I feel like this leaps from just advanced physics into actual human biology.
Yeah, it absolutely.
Because we see athletes wearing those small cropped vests under their jerseys all the time now.
Right, the ones that look almost like sports bras.
Yeah, exactly. And those aren't just for comfort or compression. They're packed with these GPS micro trackers, accelerometers, RFID tags, just constantly pinging a server on the sideline.
Basically, they are mobile biometric laboratories.
Mobile labs, wow.
Yeah, because those sensors are capturing continuous streams of internal data. So we're talking about heart rate variability, respiration cycles, even their core body temperature, all in real time.
That is just wild to think about.
And the AI takes the external physics from the camera, so the speed, the positioning, the tactics, and overlays it perfectly with the internal biological reality of the athlete's body.
So it literally knows exactly how hard your heart is working to achieve like a specific burst of speed in the 85th minute of a soccer match.
Precisely.
But, let me push back on this for a second. If you're breaking down a point guard's magic into just this churning spreadsheet of heart rates and joint angles, aren't we basically taking the raw instinct out of sports?
I hear that a lot, actually.
Because, the beauty of sports has always been that gut level intuition, the player who just kind of feels the right moment to thread a needle with a pass, or a striker running purely on adrenaline. It feels like quantifying all of that kind of strips the soul out of it, doesn't it?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the data doesn't erase instinct at all. It actually decodes it.
Decodes it. How do you mean?
Think about what we normally label as instinct in an elite athlete. It feels like magic to us, but it's almost always just incredibly rapid subconscious processing of spatial information.
Oh, right.
But
Because they've been playing their whole lives.
exactly. A veteran player knows where to be, not because of magic, but because their brain has internalized thousands of hours of geometric patterns on the field. And the AI just maps those exact patterns objectively.
Oh, I see. So it's identifying the invisible scaffolding beneath the magic.
That's spot on. Yeah.
So instead of overriding the player's natural talent, it's more like building a Formula One telemetry dashboard for the human body. It's showing the mechanics of why a certain play worked perfectly.
Yeah, and it goes even deeper than validating the play itself.
Yeah.
Because by merging that spatial data with the internal biometrics, the AI might reveal that a player's so-called instinctive bursts of brilliance are perfectly correlated with specific physiological recovery windows.
Wait, really? So it knows when they're biologically primed to do something amazing?
Yes, the AI figures out the exact biological state your body needs to be in to ensure you can actually execute that intuitive, game-winning move at the very end of a grueling match.
So it actually protects the physical conditions that allow the instinct to happen in the first place.
Exactly. It's preserving the instinct, not killing it.
So what does this all mean? We've got this Formula One dashboard streaming live, multi-layered telemetry. Who is actually looking at this during a chaotic game?
That's where we transition from the servers to the decision makers on the sidelines.
Because, I mean, we all know athletes will lie through their teeth to stay in the game, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's practically a requirement to be an elite competitor.
Right. The coach goes, "How do you feel?" And the player's just running on pure ego and adrenaline, and they say, "Put me in, coach, I'm fine." And historically, the coach just had to rely on that totally flawed conversation or maybe just their own visual observation.
And visual observation is heavily plagued by cognitive bias.
Yeah, of course it is.
The coach might think a player looks a step slow, or they might completely miss a really subtle change in how a player is running because, the action is on the totally opposite side of the field.
And human eyes definitely can't see someone's internal oxygen depletion.
No, or systemic neural fatigue. But the AI acts as a digital polygraph. The coach no longer has to ask the player how they feel because the biometric stream provides the objective truth.
That is incredible. So the AI sees that, okay, this player's microaccelerations have actually dropped by 12% over the last 4 minutes, and their heart rate recovery time between sprints just doubled.
Exactly. So the bravado of the athlete becomes completely irrelevant.
Oh, wow.
The algorithm just strips away all that adrenaline-fueled optimism. It whispers to the sideline staff that a specific player's physical output is collapsing, and their risk of a critical error, or worse, a catastrophic injury, has spiked exponentially.
And then it just recommends a substitution based on actual biological reality.
Correct. Mid-game, right when it matters most.
But doesn't that turn the human coach into a puppet?
How do you mean?
Well, if an AI is sitting there crunching the biometrics, analyzing the real-time spatial movements, and then spitting out tactical recommendations and substitution alerts, is the coach just standing there acting as a mouthpiece for a server farm?
It's a fair question, but no. The role of the coach just evolves. They go from being a guesser to an executive decision maker.
Okay, explain that shift.
Well, a head coach's primary job is really managing human psychology. It's motivating individuals, unifying a locker room, handling the immense pressure of the moment. The AI just removes the cognitive load of calculating physiological degradation.
Oh, I get it. So it frees up their brain power.
Exactly. It frees up the coach's bandwidth to focus on the human elements of leadership because they know the tactical and physical baseline is being perfectly optimized by the algorithm.
That makes a lot of sense. And that optimization isn't just happening under the bright lights on game day, right?
Not at all. In fact, most of the work happens before the game.
Yeah, because the research points out how AI completely dominates the training ground now. We're talking about the hundreds of hours spent in practice on like a random Tuesday morning.
Right.
Because historically, a team might have 30 players on a roster, and they all just ran the exact same drills, did the same laps, same weightlifting routines.
Yeah, but that one-size-fits-all approach to training is totally archaic now. Because the AI monitors the players continuously, it tracks the cumulative load on every individual athlete's body.
So it knows exactly what each person needs.
Right. So, say following a game on Sunday, the AI analyzes Monday's biometrics. It might dictate that player A, who maybe covered less ground but had a ton of high-impact collisions, needs purely aquatic recovery and soft tissue therapy.
Okay, so a pool day for player A.
Exactly. Meanwhile, player B, who ran constantly but stayed below their maximum heart rate threshold, well, they need a heavy cardiovascular session to maintain their fitness peak.
So it basically creates a bespoke physical reality for every single person on the team.
Yes, every single day.
The system is perfectly balancing the need to push an athlete's boundaries with the absolute necessity of recovery. But wait, here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
If the AI knows exactly when a player is hitting their absolute peak, and it's prescribing these intense razor-edge training loads, doesn't it also know the exact second they're about to physically break?
Yeah.
Like, how is it handling the immense risk of pushing the human machine that hard without snapping something?
This raises an important question, and it's honestly the holy grail of sports analytics. We're talking about the shift from reactive medicine to predictive intervention.
Right, because usually sports medicine is purely reactive.
Entirely reactive. For the whole history of sports, teams operated that way. A player sprints, they grab their hamstring, they fall to the ground in agony, and only then does the medical staff rush out to treat the damage.
Yeah, but by then, the injury has already happened. The damage is done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the AI reverses that entire timeline. It detects the underlying invisible patterns of physical stress long before the tissue actually tears.
It's like a check engine light for the human body.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
Because your car has a sensor that detects like a microscopic anomaly in the
Mhm.
engine's pressure, right?
Right.
And it illuminates on your dashboard way before the engine actually starts smoking and leaves you stranded on the highway.
Right.
So the AI is basically giving sports scientists a dashboard warning light for ligaments and muscles. It's wild that we are shifting from reactive to predictive intervention.
And it's a check engine light that not only warns you, but actively reroutes the fuel line mid-drive to prevent a fire.
Oh, I love that.
Let's look at how it actually calculates that warning, because an injury is rarely just a freak accident.
It's not. It always looks so sudden on TV.
It looks sudden, but it's usually the final step in a really long chain of subtle biomechanical failures. The AI is constantly scanning that triad we talked about, movement, stats, and biometrics. It's looking for incredibly microscopic deviations from an athlete's established baseline.
Let's ground this in a specific scenario so the listener can picture it. Imagine a star striker who is, unknowingly reaching the point of systemic fatigue. What does the AI actually see that the coaching staff on the sideline doesn't?
Okay, so the AI might notice that this striker is unconsciously favoring their left leg by, say, 2% when they land from a jump.
Just 2%.
Just 2%. Or maybe that their stride length has shortened by an inch on their right side. Now, 2% is completely imperceptible to the human eye from the sidelines.
Yeah, a coach is never going to spot a 2% shift in a jump.
Never. And the athlete themselves feels absolutely no pain at this point. They just feel the normal ache of a long, grueling season.
Right, so they don't say anything because they don't know anything's wrong.
Exactly. However, the algorithm correlates that 2% shift in load bearing with a slight, persistent elevation in their resting heart rate over the preceding 3 days.
Ah, so it's pulling in the internal telemetry too.
Yes, and maybe a drop in their sleep quality metrics from their smart ring.
So it's layering the data. The mechanical shift in the leg is suddenly combined with the neurological signs of exhaustion in the heart rate.
Yes, and then it compares that specific multi-layered data signature against millions of hours of historical logs from other athletes.
And what does it find?
The AI recognizes that this exact combination, minor gait asymmetry, elevated stress biometrics, and a shortened stride length, precedes a major soft tissue injury 85% of the time within the next 48 hours.
Oh my God. So the AI literally sees the smoke before there's even a spark.
Exactly.
And the implications of that for a sports franchise are monumental. I mean, we are talking about hundreds of millions of dollars invested in these human beings.
Oh, absolutely. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Because a torn ACL isn't just a moment of pain on the field.
Yeah.
It alters the fate of a multi-billion-dollar organization. It ruins a season. And honestly, it can permanently derail a human's career.
Which is exactly why this technology is being adopted so aggressively across every major league. Because the AI detects these precursor patterns, the team can actually intervene.
They stop it before it happens.
Right. The coach pulls the player from a heavy practice. The medical staff implements targeted physical therapy to correct that load-bearing imbalance, and the catastrophic injury simply never happens.
The future negative event is just erased.
Erased. Completely.
Yeah. It's almost like time travel, honestly. You're acting on these invisible clues in the present to completely rewrite the future of an athlete's physical health.
It really does feel like that sometimes.
But this fundamentally redefines the whole philosophy of sports and endurance, doesn't it? I mean, we all grew up with that leave it all on the field mentality.
The blood, sweat, and tears narrative.
Exactly. Endurance meant pushing through the pain, and we glorified athletes who essentially destroyed their bodies for our entertainment.
We did. But by spotting these microscopic patterns of stress before a human feels the pain, AI is fundamentally redefining what sustainable performance means for the human body.
It's exposing that old mentality as just terrible management.
Terrible physiological management, yes. True, sustainable performance isn't about enduring damage. It's about optimizing physiological output so precisely that the damage never even occurs.
Yeah.
The data proves that the human body operates best when its need for recovery is honored just as fiercely as its capacity for exertion. By mapping the invisible limits of the body, the AI is extending careers. It's allowing athletes to perform at peak levels well into their 30s and 40s safely.
So we've really gone from treating athletes like, gladiators expected to break in the arena, to treating them like priceless, finely tuned aerospace instruments that require constant, mathematically perfect calibration.
That's beautifully put, and the reduction in preventable soft tissue injuries across organizations that fully integrate these AI telemetry systems is staggering. It demonstrates that the boundaries of human potential can be pushed much further than we thought, as long as we have the artificial intelligence to guide us safely along the edge.
Okay, let's weave all these threads together.
Sure.
We started with the realization that AI in sports has entirely transcended the post-game stat sheet. It is this active, invisible observer pulling in continuous telemetry from optical cameras and internal biometric sensors.
The three pillars.
Exactly. Then we explored how this massive stream of data acts as a digital co-pilot for coaches, stripping away human bias and bravado to provide objective, real-time truths about physical limits.
And optimizing training on a hyper-individual level.
Right. And finally, we unpacked the absolute holy grail of sports science using machine learning to spot the microscopic, invisible precursors to injury, effectively stopping catastrophic physical damage before a player even feels a twinge of pain.
The core takeaway here is that artificial intelligence really is the ultimate tool for sustainable performance. It perfectly balances the relentless ambition of competitive sports with the hard biological realities of the human machine. It's fundamentally changing how we understand athletic potential.
And this matters directly to you, the listener, even if the closest you get to a professional pitch is, just jogging through your neighborhood on a Tuesday evening.
Yeah, this isn't just for the pros.
Not at all. Think about the smartwatch on your wrist right now, or the fitness ring on your finger. The exact same principles of biometric data analysis, tracking sleep recovery, heart rate variability, micro movements to predict your daily fatigue, that technology is actively trickling down to all of us.
It's democratizing sports science.
Exactly. Understanding how an algorithm protects a $100 million elite athlete gives us a direct, clear glimpse into the future of everyday human health, fitness, and longevity for the rest of us.
The cutting-edge boundaries of sports science today will inevitably become the standard preventative healthcare practices of tomorrow.
No doubt about it.
But, there's a philosophical implication to all this optimization that I think is really worth pondering.
Oh, lay it on us.
Well, as these systems become increasingly omniscient, if an AI can perfectly predict fatigue, flawlessly optimize every minute of a bespoke training routine, and recommend the mathematically perfect real-time tactic to counter any opponent's move,
Yeah.
will the future of sports eventually become less about the human athletes sweating on the field and more about which organization has coded the superior algorithm?
Oh, wow. Now that is something to think about. An algorithmic arms race.
Exactly.
Well, on that slightly terrifying but fascinating note, thank you for listening to another episode of AI 10X brought to you by 10 Leaves.